Alright folks, today I'm in my hometown of Kingwood, Texas. I'm actually just about a mile from my own house up here in the suburbs. Had a lady call me and said she had bees getting under her deck. So I come and looked at it yesterday afternoon, and what they're doing is they're crawling in through these, just through these small gaps in the boards. I think the deck was originally built, these should be flush, but over time they've shrunk and warped. So the bees are crawling down through these gaps, and I'd imagine just have, a little bit of a nest underneath here. It can't be much because this deck sits basically right on the ground. So I've got my nuke box set up here with some empty frames, and I've already smoked them a little bit, so we're going to get into it. So I just opened it up and pulled the first board, and I got lucky. The first one I pulled was the one over here closest to it. You can see the comb is just right. Now, I don't know if you can see it right there. It is right there on the edge. So this is a real small little hive. They just moved in or just getting started, so we should be able to move them out pretty quick. Alright, I got her, guys. She was kind of in a cluster back up under the deck, and I didn't actually see her. I was pulling out handfuls of bees looking for her, and I kept seeing the bees running towards the back, so I actually just stuck my smoker under the deck and smoked real heavy to kind of drive them forward, and she came crawling right out to see me. Usually they're shy and I'll try to run and hide, but she came right on out, so I picked her right up. She's a pretty queen. Yeah, I think I missed it, but I just put the lid back on the hive, and all these bees that were on there started marching in, so not a real prominent march, not real easy to see, but they definitely did it, and there's a couple of them that are propping up fanning already, so now I'm just going to reach up under here and pull as many more as I can out from under the deck and leave the box set up here for a while, and I'll come back tonight and grab them. Look at them now, folks. Now that's a march. That's what I like to see. What I did, I just stuck my smoker in here under the deck again, and I puffed it real good, and there's a whole bunch of them that were on the ground further back under there, and they all started running out, so you can see them there. They're coming out of the shadows now all along this board, and they're crawling up onto the deck, and they're marching over to their new home. So it won't be long. Give them 10-15 minutes maybe, and the bulk majority of them will all be in that box. You'll just have foragers looking around at that point. So I call this one a success. There you go, guys. Just get a little bit more footage of the march. A lot of them have actually stopped. There's so many of them that have stopped to fan. All these in here, they're all fanning, so they've almost stalled their march just so they can do more fanning. But there's a couple down here on the board that are still confused, that are still fanning a little bit, but every time I start blowing smoke in there, they start running out and running to the box. So you can see a good carpet of them there, a little magic carpet as I like to call it, all just pouring into the box, so it won't be long. Well, there you have it, folks. Another successful one. Like I said, this was a great one. No more than an hour, maybe, worth of labor. I'm not sure what time I got started, but it wasn't long at all. It was little bitty combs. Swarm moved in no more than a week ago. But I cut out a few of the combs, and like I said, once had all the combs pulled out and the bees were clustering a little bit in the back, so I smoked under the deck some, and the queen came walking right on out to see me. So she was not shy. She just wandered right on out. So I caged her, like I showed you, and stuck her in there in the box, and they did a really good march into the box, and now you see a lot of them just hanging out front, and they're cleaning up where I had little drops of honey and stuff. So that's the only reason they're still hanging out there. But that's it for now. I'm gonna just let them calm down and let all the foragers come home, and I'll come back and get them tonight. Alright, guys, I got my girls set up out here. Went and picked them up last night after dark, the usual. I didn't film it because it wasn't really necessary, but it was a quick and easy pickup. This is a real small cluster, maybe a pound bees, and showed up, and there was just a couple hanging on the outside of the entrance, so I just used a couple pine needles and kind of pushed them in the entrance and stapled some screen over the cover, and that was it. But you can see here now I set them out here last night. I just set them in front of this big bush of grass, cover the entrance up a little bit to slow them down this morning when they come out foraging, so they don't try to immediately go back to where they came from, because it is only about a mile from here, so I don't I hope they won't return. I can see a couple foragers coming back in. They're coming back to the box now, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a feeder on for them. I've got my feeder and a bottle of honey there, so I'm going to give them some honey that I've got a little bit of surplus of, because when I did the cutout yesterday, I didn't notice any excess honey at all in the comb. They were packing a lot of pollen, and the comb was laid full of eggs to raise larvae, but they need that honey too for food source, so I'm going to go ahead and give them some honey and hope they accept it and enjoy it. So, almost forgot the final bit. Almost forgot to release my queen. I was going to leave the house for the day. I was probably going to be out most of the afternoon. Oh crap, that queen's still in that cage. So that first removal I did where I actually found the queen, she was in the cage for 3.5 days, and she was alive when I released her, but I checked back on that hive about a week later, and she was gone, and they were pulling queen cells. So I don't know if being in the cage that long is what what hurt her, what made them do that. So I didn't want to do that this time. So I just now reached in there and released this queen, and I did it completely protection free. So proud of myself. Got in there, just smoked them a little bit, and didn't really have any problems. Didn't have a single one even try to buzz my face or bump me. So they're excited right now because they're eating on that honey that I gave them. And the comb's a little messed up because it was, brand new comb, and they've already chewed a couple of the rubber bands, so I've got comb falling out in there. But I'm gonna let them be here for a week or so, and let them get better established before I get in there and try to move any more comb around. So that's it for now.